I think Moran, I heard them say that was he is the only driver to have repeated at the Sunshine Nationals, and now he's won
now
three
he's
of
done it
them.
3 times. Yeah.
Now he's won
Yeah.
3 of them. So clearly he's pretty good there historically. Could be the skew, if you will, of his race car. Remember,
Hey,
this
when
is
I pulled up Facebook after the race. That was the first thing popped up is the most skewed body there happened to win. What kind of BS is this?
well.
Well,
I know
I
they
just don't say.
said,
I've been telling y'all this for a week.
yeah,
Like,
ever since that
Yeah.
picture started floating around Facebook.
yeah. I mean, there ain't a car. I ain't seen one look like that ever. It's going to get out of hand if that's a whole nother topic or rabbit hole we want to go down right now. But these bodies and nose pieces and everything shaped the way they are and pointed the way they are, you can't. How do they get it in and out of the race trailer? I have no idea.
They got a bender in there.
Yeah. Dusty
Yo,
and Jordan would rip our whole right side off.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have a door left.
Yeah.
What it
And the
reminded
left
me
side
of.
too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
every bit of
completely
it.
crooked.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that photo, guys, like last year, maybe 2 years ago, of Hoffman's modified that everyone was just losing their mind
Mhm.
about? This
That's
is
what it looks
almost
like.
the exact same scenario with that Moran's
Mhm.
late model.
I mean, it definitely had noticeable. I mean, you just look at it, and we're talking about a face
Like
picture
the
that got.
nose and roof are pointed one direction, and the rest of the car is pointed another.
Yeah.
I
Like,
see.
it's-
I see.
There's no
So-
doubt about that. You could even say like his nose is nose and roof are pointed north, and his let's see if I can make this make sense. His from his
Go with the
T-bar
clock. Go with the
behind
clock.
the hood, the T-bar behind the hood, all the way to the spoiler, excluding the roof, is pointed north, northeast, west. So, like if you had it on a compass.
You know what they say about air?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
free.
It's free. Air's free. You
Yeah.
can find a lot of speed there, and it's free.
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
wild
yeah.
to look at, and I think that it's that is on the verge of out of control, and something's got to be done.
Well, to their credit, the World Outlaws, Dirt Car, whoever, they said they made it abundantly clear early on in the stream that he went through tech and passed tech, whatever that means.
Yeah, I'm not saying that his car's illegal. I'm saying the problem is tech.
Right. We need
know what I
need to
mean?
rein it in with the rules.
Yeah. I mean, hats off to him for building something that can catch as much air as that thing is. I'd say that thing is a prime example of a sheet. What would you call it? A sheet metal masterpiece, really. But
It's a work
it's
of
not.
art.
Yeah, it's a work of art, absolutely. But it's not their fault. They're taking advantage of the rules. It's,
Right. So do we need
rules
like the
letting 'em.
NASCAR templates where they put
I think we need to drive through a template. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you
It
can't
fits the
fit in that,
chips.
you don't get through it until your car fits through there.
was it Turbo that we were talking to?
I
and
think it
he's
was. I
at,
think
what
it
was
was,
that
yeah.
at Fairbury a couple
Probably
years ago?
Fairbury. Yeah.
Okay, a
And-
couple years ago, back when all this crap wasn't like it is now.
Yeah. But y'all remember that Turbo
Mhm.
comes over to our trailer that day at Fairbury, one of the midweek races after Eldora, the
It was
one for the
it was
road,
that Flow Racing race.
one for
Flow
the road,
race.
where you missed it by
Mhm.
one spot to Super
Yeah.
Ship,
Yep.
and he just went off on
Dude,
the
he like
problems
sat
with,
on our floor and just talked for an hour and a half about the problems.
with dirt late model racing.
Yeah.
Well,
that was right after Eldora was a snoozer.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And
I think we got started on Droop was his main complaint.
Yeah.
That
Right.
would have been 2022, and Droop was, I guess that was the first year it was nationally instituted. So he's complaining about that, and then he started talking about the bodies, and he said we just need to be able to drive through. You just have this thing that everybody has to drive through, and if you can't drive through it, like you go over the scales, but you also got to go through this template,
Mhm.
and if you can't, you're out.
Yeah,
Right, and-
assuming that whatever body damage you might have.
That is a whole
Well,
nother point.
that's kind of a problem.
Right.
Well, you got to
That's
drive. Maybe you got to
another
drive
thing.
through it to get on the track.
To get on the
I don't
track,
know.
you got to drive
Yeah.
through it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Um,
to be clear, the problem, the concern, I think, with the bodies is, the goal is to catch as much air as you can with it, right? So you got downforce and you're fast, but the problem is then you're making it harder for the guy behind you, and that's where we get the dirty air effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Who
And
was
the
it,
guys
Jesse?
lose
You
the
said-
nose and lose
Yeah,
the air.
Jesse
it was
pointed
just
it out
Pierce,
at one
when
point.
Pierce passed
Pierce
Dodson for
passed
the lead
Dodson
off
off
of
of
turn
4.
4.
Mhm.
Dodson rides a wheelie to the flag stand or for
Yeah.
100 feet. Just complete like Pierce slides up in front of him off 4. Dodson literally pops a wheelie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, just the nose
Um,
floats. It's the
mhm.
wildest looking thing.
And I can
Yeah.
tell you, whenever we went to we were at Eldora for the World 100 this past year, and the racetrack was super. They had it super fast. I mean, it was the world was they had it hooked up. The only time I've been around that place with my foot on the floor. And like we were really good when we were out there by ourselves.
Right.
But as soon
Yeah,
as we
set
get around
fast
other
or
cars or you get around other people,
Mhm.
and like if you enter the corner anywhere close to another car, your hopes and dreams of turning when you get to the corner, you're out the window. Like you can't. Uh, you're just out to lunch, and it made for like the starts and restarts in turn one were absolute chaos. And then once everybody stretches out, you're just kind of stretched out until
Yeah.
they're like in the feature race. Once the racetrack slowed down, they could get up there and bang off the boards, and it made it a little bit more technical. But all in the heat races and stuff, if you were on pace and you could go around there wide open and get strung out, it didn't matter,
Yeah. At East Bay, it won't matter as much, but
Well, it still does because the things are so like how much of a footprint on the racetrack do you think Moran car, like all of them are wide and
Mhm.
stick out, like, but since we're talking about the 99 and the way his body and stuff is, like, how much of a footprint do you think that leaves? Like if you have him on the racetrack going around the racetrack, how much space does that car take up from the left front flopper to the back deck of the rear spoiler?
a
Like,
lot of it.
how much
Yeah.
of a footprint does that car leave?
It's a big
Being
wake.
sideways and like you can't. Here's the thing: like in dirt late model racing, if it's just like Shepard trying to pass Bronson a minute ago in lap traffic. Bronson is tailed out. If Bronson's car is straight, Shepard's driver he drives right by around the outside of him. But since Bronson's tailed out, like there's no freaking room for two cars to be in there sideways. Well, most places, and like you go down the back straightaway, like on a start or something other. And if you're on the outside, and if you're not like, if you don't have your left front fender at the other guy's right front tire, there's no way you can enter on the outside of this guy unless you have a lot of room, like
Right.
like at Volusia, especially like in the heat races and stuff. If you don't have if you can't get your car turned right beside that one, there's no way you're going to go into turn one with anyone else there. But some places that are wide and there's plenty of room, sure, if somebody's running the bottom, somebody's running the top, it doesn't matter. But for places that are narrower, like Volusia was in the heat races and B mains,
It's why you saw
that's
them
why you've seen
touching
everybody
wheels.
that's why you've seen everybody on the outside just giving up and basically letting the leader start the race, and they just do their best to fall in second. I see McCready do it in the heat. There was 3 or 4 heat races where the outside pole guy didn't even try to race for the lead.
Right.
They're just trying to get down and get in as fast as
because
possible.
because the chances of jumping the guy that's starting the race and beating him in turn one are slim to none at that
Right.
level of racing. And if you can't do that, you're going to shove across the fluff and get in line in about 5th. I don't know. I just think we should do something about
Collectively
the
as
bodies and
a
stuff.
as a
As
sport.
a sport.
Like,
Maybe this is
we have the unified dirt late model rules.
Mhm.
Needs to be a unified dirt late model body rule.
Well,
Like,
there is,
yeah,
but
there
they
is,
haven't
it
got
but
it
it needs
right
to be
yet.
reeled in. It
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah.
reeled in.
They got to figure it out.